Good morning, Freedom Team. Hope Eddie had a great weekend. What are we here? June 8th. We're halfway through the year, you guys. I hope everybody is out planting the seeds and hoping that harvest is going to come in soon. But we are excited as always. Have another stud that we have on here, Mr. Chris Craddock. Very excited for you to be on here, my friend. He has got a packed schedule, so he's going to be doing this interview from his car. We appreciate you doing this, brother. I know you didn't get a chance to shoot me over a bio, and I know it's sometimes challenging to edify yourself, but I want you to go at it, my friend. Give us all your background, all the good stuff, so we have a good idea of kind of your background before we dive into this. And I got a few questions we can ask. But yeah, give us a little bit of your background, Chris, to kick things off.
Sure. You want the good stuff, the bad stuff, or all of the in between?
Let's do
Whatever
all
you
of the
want.
in between.
All right. Sounds good. Yeah. So I got into real estate. I was on staff with an organization called Young Life when I was right out of college and loved it. It was awesome. I made 25 grand a year, and my wife got pregnant and could not live on 25 grand a year in the Northern Virginia area. So I got into I couldn't afford to buy. I checked out from the library every book on investing that I could find and read them all in about a week because I'm kind of neurotic when I'm all in on something. I'm all in on stuff. And so I flipped. I ended up making 12 times what I made in a year in about 4 months by just knocking
Wow.
on doors of houses that were up for foreclosure. And um, man, I didn't know what to say, and I mean, one of our phrases that we always use in our company is massive imperfect action. And brother, it was imperfect. But here's the thing. It worked. It worked. And we made a lot of money really quick, my wife and I, and allowed me to continue doing ministry for a while. And I started having kids, and as I have more kids, the money ran out. And so I was doing all these different side gigs, everything you could imagine. Heck, in 2010, I had so little money. I was trying to sell my blood for $300 to NIH just to buy Christmas presents for my family. And I was like,
Jeez.
why don't I get back into flipping houses again? And so I started doing that. And at that point, the market had crashed, because it was post '08. So all of those were short sales. Well, the bank was paying for like a commission for short sales. I couldn't just negotiate a cheaper price. And so I got a license to do that. And the interesting thing is I had massive success. And then, this is the in between part. Jim Collins in his book, How the Mighty Fall, refers to something that I see all the time. It's called the hubris born of success, right? And I read a book by Annie Duke. She was, she was a professional poker player, and she said, in in life, in chess, right, the right move always wins. But in life, it's more like poker, where sometimes you might get a 7-2 offsuit, like a really bad hand, and it wins. And so then you think you've got a winning hand. Well, that's what happened with some of the development stuff that I had, and I pushed all in. And within a couple years, I ended up owing about $10 million. Like,
Oh
I
my
was in debt
gosh.
about $10 million. I didn't have the money to get out of it. I was like literally losing my hair at night when I slept. Thankfully, it's come back. Grinding my teeth. It was a mess. And what happened was when I was doing all of that, uh, I just needed to figure out a way out. And I had this real estate license. And honestly, the most painful things in life, if you let them, will shape you and mold you into like
Mm.
who you're supposed to become. And so we ended up starting Redux, my wife and I, um, just to try to figure it out, because although I owed $10 million, a lot of that was to the bank. The harder part was I owed $660,000 to my friends, and I just I could have filed bankruptcy. I could have gotten out. Like, there was a lot of stuff where I could have screwed them over, but I was just like, there's just not a world in which that's the person I want to be, right? And
Yeah.
um, so I realized I could make money fast by uh, listing properties if I just went after these distressed properties like crazy. And Redux grew very fast. And yeah, last year, so then we, as we started growing, like crazy things started happening around us. Like, we were able to open a title business, a mortgage business, a construction business, an insurance business, which actually really sucked, and that's a story for another day. And we ended up closing that one down. Um, but yeah, I wish I could say they were all wins. That definitely was a strikeout by far. But Opened all these other businesses, and then Redux has also continued to grow. Last year we did I think it was 692 transactions, and
Jeez.
yeah, it's been fabulous. It's just been a fun ride. So that's a little bit of the ugly, a little bit of the good, and like all the in
Yeah.
between. It might have been more than you bargained for, but there we go.
No, all good, man. Appreciate you just being vulnerable and sharing, man. That's a crazy story. So, but back up to when was it you first heard about EXP? Who was it approached you, and what was the main reason you jumped on board with EXP?
Hmm. That that's an interesting one. So I still wear this bracelet. The first time I got invited to Gary Keller's Top 100, back when it was like actually only 100 that got invited to it. Now there's like I think 5,000 that get invited to it.
Yeah.
Um, but that was such a big deal to me, and I went from literally trying to sell my blood to a multimillionaire many times over at KW, and so all these EXP people would call me and just like they didn't know how to speak my language, right? Like they just kept saying, like they would just crap on KW and be like, "Oh,
Mm,
Gary's taking your money," like all the other stuff. And I'm like, to this day, I mean, I still wear this bracelet. I still, I still hold KW in high regard, right?
yeah.
Like I do. And people like they just came in like a bull in a china shop. They never asked questions. They like if they would have asked questions, they would have realized like, hey, if you go hard at like and just start talking trash about a company that I hold in high regard, you
Yeah.
like I want nothing to do with you. Like you're not my people. And that literally was the first like probably 6 or 7 EXP agents I spoke to. They just were like they had one instrument and it was the freaking sledgehammer and they didn't know how to ask questions, anything else.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing was right around the time our team was expanding and we were having an issue with like some of the different KW market centers not being as good as the local market center. And so like in all of the hierarchy all around. And at the same time, two of my agents came to me and said, "Hey, Chris, at Redux, you always say you want our lives to continue to grow and you never want to be a glass ceiling in our lives. At Redux, you um you can grow, but like we're gonna hit a glass ceiling and we want to talk to you about EXP because it looks like we can grow with you as big as we want to grow at EXP and
Mm,
at KW, I don't think we can." And that was my language, right? Taking care of
yeah.
my people was my language. Like the best organization to serve my people was my language. And like that was what got me was at the time we were hitting some growing pains because the situation was like the organization wasn't fit to grow globally and my people were kind of hitting glass ceilings, and so being able to speak about that and actually learn what was important to me was what actually happened there.
Gotcha. So this was obviously people on your team that approached you about it. So who ended up ultimately being your sponsor? Was it somebody that they knew had a relationship or something with?
So it ended up being Lars Hedenborg, and
Okay.
they were with, they had done some stuff with Lars, and I knew Lars from Gary's Top 100 at KW, and it was good. And actually, I'll tell you, as long as I won't say who, but as long as like we're talking like dirty laundry about stuff, the crazy thing was there was somebody who was like a big EXP guy. Um, who's no longer with EXP that had become like a very close friend of mine, like super close. Like we were really tight. And um we were talking about traveling and like together with our spouses and other stuff. And then he tells me like one time we were in the car and he says, "Hey, just want to let you know I've been talking with, Dustin, my expansion partner in another area, and I think he's going to come over to EXP. So if you want to come over, you need to do it now, and we'll put him under you." I was like, "Wait, you you're talking to, like, we're good friends and you're like going after my team?" And he like backtracks a little bit and he says,
Mhm.
he's like, "No, no, no, no. Well, like, listen, nobody's gonna come and talk to me unless they're unhappy." And I was like, I felt like I've got my life principles, and one of my life principles, like number two on there, is people over profit. And I was like, so wait, you
Mhm.
really you see dollar signs enough that you're willing to like totally trash our relation? He's like, "No, I don't want to trash it. I want to grow and I'm like, he's like, "If he wasn't happy, he wouldn't call me." And I'm like, "If that's the truth, how would you feel if I call your wife and ask her on a date? And she's not going to talk to me unless she's unhappy." And so like that was the crazy thing is like understanding, like, you know, you can grow your revenue share, you can grow your line, and you should grow your line through relationships. But man, like, you treat people well, and like I literally would have been at EXP under him. Like, like
Yeah.
100% I would have been with him, but he just decided to, but I'm glad he showed his hand, because like I would have
Yeah.
been stuck with somebody that was a person with no integrity.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I remember when I first started, I talked about this last week. Every time I had somebody on my list, I would start and think about who all do they know. So when I called them, it'd be more like me approaching them going, look, man, we could team up together. You and I know so and so and so and so and so, and we'll bring them on together. I'll put them on your. Yeah, I mean, that incentivized them to want to come on board. We started talking about who we knew together. So no, I appreciate you sharing that. So you've been on board with the time frame. When did you come on board? How long ago?
It's been 4 or 5 years, something like that.
Okay.
I've got a time blindness, so I lose track of time. Like, so that means like it could be 2 years or it could be like 8 years, but like I think it's 4 or 5.
And so you sound like you're obviously still in the game, production. Do you still have your original team that you brought over? Are they still with you? Has that expanded? Have you kind of maintained it? What's that look like in
Yeah, yeah,
comparison to your
yeah. I mean,
organization?
so my team did about just under 700 transactions last year. So yeah, no,
Goodness.
we're still cranking.
Okay. And how many are on your team?
Uh, it's a moving target because we're always recruiting.
Yeah.
Somewhere somewhere in the 70s.
Okay. 70s. And your total organization is how many?
Just under 400.
Wow, man, congrats, congrats. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about your growth. So you've been here 4 or 5 years. Have you primarily, because you ran a big team, have you focused on going after team leaders, independent brokerages? What does it look like your growth since you kind of started? Where's that coming from?
Well, so, part of it is understanding, and I actually just was doing a training this morning, early this morning on like motivation, gamifying, like understanding yourself and how you can make things like be fun. And um but like the interesting thing with that is um uh it wasn't like I'm a DI on the disc profile, right? Highly
Hmm.
driven, but also massively interpersonal. And
Love it.
all of my businesses, I have a business partner. And I know that I could probably make more money if I wasn't like splitting 50-50 with somebody. I could probably hire somebody, but I I enjoy being partners with people. I enjoy growing stuff with people. Heck, I play pickleball all the time, and I love doubles pickleball way more than I love singles pickleball, right? Like it's
Yeah,
fun, right?
yeah.
And
Yep.
so with that said, um, when my friend Rob Chavez came on, he had a big team. It wasn't until like 2 or maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that. So I didn't do much in the way of growth other than my personal team until I had a friend that we could run together. And then when we could run together, then, I mean, we've started growing like crazy. I think my organization was just under 100, and then Rob came on, and then we both got excited together and really started growing it.
Love it. And so have you guys gone after some other teams similar to yours? There's been a lot of solo agents.
Hmm. Yeah, there's a couple other teams like mine So we'll so Sean and Corey, Ducker Reagan, they're like a $200 million team. They came over and we're really focused on the agent investor piece because
Yeah,
that's
okay.
where it is. So like that's who we really want to be talking to because heck, I think that like to this day, I think the biggest problem with real estate agents is they don't buy their own product. Like literally you'd go to
Hmm.
jail on Wall Street for insider trading for what we're allowed to do. And most agents don't do it. And so that's the avatar that we love to talk to. People that want to build a team, build an organization, really grow stuff through the agent investor mindset. And so that's kind of the people that we're going after.
Gotcha. So with that in mind, I mean, I've got a probably mainly solo agents on here, but obviously you have a ton of experience. I'm sure you could attract solos, independents, teams, whatever. Maybe let's go just if you don't mind, because of your experience level. I can tell obviously you're very good at what you do. With those that are on here right now, if you were kind of just coaching some of them for the first time, going, hey, they're looking to get into attraction stuff, what might you tell them, knowing, where we're at with the XP, what's going on in the industry, and everything today? How might you kind of help some of these folks move themselves along if they were getting started in attraction today?
Yeah, I think his name's Phil Johnson, who spoke at like the last EXP like top agent mastermind.
Yeah.
And he did a keynote that I there was one takeaway that I really loved, but his keynote was called How to Get What You Want. And here
Hmm.
was what he said on that he gave me this one tool that I've used so many times. He's like, if you really want to talk in depth about somebody making a change or moving anywhere, like whether it's EXP, whether it's your team, whether it's like whatever it is, he's
Yeah.
like, do this. Ask people, what are the three things you like most about XYZ, your current situation, right? Like, what are the three things you like most? And they're going to tell you the first thing that comes to mind. They're going to tell you something that they like, and they're also going to tell you what is most important to them, right? The thing that they love. But once they tell you those three things, then you're in relationship and the guard has come down, then you can ask this one question, which is if there was one thing you could change, what would it be? And they're going to
Hmm.
tell you exactly how to sell them, right? And if the pain is high enough, like
Yeah.
I feel stuck. I feel like I don't have anybody that's got my back. I don't feel like, whatever it is, then, you can solve that pain. Now, here's the one thing. Everybody on here, like if you just sell people to sell people and aren't selling a good product, like shame on you, right? Like that's the thing. So here's what I'd say. Maybe you don't feel like you can offer anything, but go 7 levels up in your organization,
Hmm.
right? And find somebody like if you don't know everybody above you, like you need to call every single person in your organization today and just introduce yourself to them, right?
Yep.
And then find out what their genius zone is, right? Like what are you good at? What are you like? Can I ask you a couple questions? Ask them questions, find out what they're good at, and then whenever somebody says, "Hey, I'm not," I feel like I want to grow like my wealth, right? And I don't feel like I'm growing my wealth. I'm on a hamster wheel right now. Then you can go and say, "Oh, I've got this person in my EXP organization. Let me make an introduction to you because they bought 50 doors in the last, 5 years and would be somebody that could really help you." And then you're just leading with value. You're
Yeah.
you're you're helping people. But if you just say, "Hey, come join my organization. Hey, join EXP, whatever," without any value, I don't know. I find that not to be helpful to anybody, and frankly, it's a way to get people in and leave right away. So like, you got 7 people that have your back and are and every single one of them has something they can offer. Go find out
No
what they
doubt.
are, and then find a way to just connect people.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's awesome. And we run right now, you're like talking to, even though there's only 15 of us on here, you're talking to a group. So we formed a group called the Freedom Team. Now within our group, you've got all these other groups that have started. But anyway, we have a freedom team. So like me right now, not having real estate experience, Chris, I've never even sold houses, but I fall back on everybody in my group who does. And I'm always leaning on them and edifying people in the group and our leadership team. And so anyway, it's interesting. There's all different kinds of ways to approach this.
Well,
Um,
here's what I would do. Like, so Sean, like, let me pretend like you're in my upline, and I'm maybe you're three up, and I've never talked to you. This is what I would
yeah.
do. Um, hey, Sean, this is Chris Craddock. I'm in your EXP downline. I'm technically your grandson in EXP. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Chris. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Hey, I want to lean into revenue share, and I just want to find out who all is in our organization. Do you have 15 minutes where I could just, ask you a couple questions just so I can see how how I can really tie people in and, hopefully
Yeah,
really build something that would be good for me and good for you?
no, absolutely. Yeah,
Cool, cool. Do you mind just, and I'll just ask you like one or two questions. We won't go
yeah,
15 minutes. Do
yeah,
you
yeah,
mind? But then you'll see where I'm going with it, right?
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
Sean, do you mind just sharing with me, like if I were to say, hey, what's your genius zone? Like something that you're like really good at in life. Do you mind sharing with me what you think that would be?
yeah. You know what? Just connecting with others and really understanding, kind of like you were talking about a second ago, kind of their pain, whatever situation they're in, and seeing if I can truly help them. Just love, really, I really do, connecting with people and going, what can I do to help you in your current situation? If I can't help them, I'm sure I have other connections, kind of like you're talking about, who can help them. Like Kelly, who's on here taking notes and stuff. She's a huge investor also as well. And so when I come across somebody like that, if I want to connect them, I'll connect them with the right person by doing the same thing you're doing. So yeah, no, that's brilliant. That's great for everybody here. If you haven't done that, because I know I did that right out of the gate, call the seven people, obviously, in your organization. If you're not sure how to find it, let us know. Any of the leaders can walk you guys through it. But other than that, I always say, Chris, everybody here, we can all lean on the Freedom Team. We've been doing Zooms, shoot, 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, for about 4 years. We have, I mean, we'd love to have you on also on a Tuesday if you want sometime the next 2, 3 months. We do a production, usually bring on somebody who's an icon agent and come just pour into the team on whatever it is that they might be really good at, which obviously you're probably good at a lot of things if you're leading a big organization. So we do that on Tuesdays to bring value to the entire group. Monday, Thursday is more about attraction. Tuesday, Wednesday is more about production. So anyway, I say that to you to
Awesome.
go, we all lean on each other, and the Freedom Team is how we attract a lot of agents, bringing them into our group.
So I would go even next level because like what you said right there is good and it's something that I would know personally I'd want to lean into, but it would be hard for me um to then go offer that to somebody and say, "Hey, let me introduce you to Sean, who is good at making connections." I would say, so Sean, so what could I like if you were to offer something to a recruit that fits in your genius zone, something you're especially good at. And there's a book called The Big Leap that if all of you guys haven't read that book, it's a great book just to really, really boil down like what are you good at and like what is your zone of genius. And uh
Okay.
and honestly, the tough thing about high producers is that we like you said, Sean, like I could probably talk about a bunch of things. But if I start doing things outside of very few things, then I'm gonna do stuff that I'm good at, but not stuff that I'm like gonna move the needle like crazy at. So like
Yeah.
I would want to boil down and see, Sean, like what are you like what is something that you're especially good at? Like something where I could um I could figure this out so that I could offer the expertise of Sean to my people because that um, most of you guys know the name Brent Gove on here.
Hmm.
Brent has become a good friend of mine. I love Brent. He's one of the best people in the world. But that's one of the things that Brent says is, if you really want to win in this game, you've got to become a professional introducer, right? And like that's it.
Hmm.
Like you're just
Yeah.
introducing people, but you've got to know like you got to know what somebody is really good at so that it makes sense that they're going to want to talk to them because if they think, oh, I'm just going to introduce you to this guy Sean and I'm like and I don't know anything about like what Sean does at a high level, I'm going to be like,
Hmm.
oh, Sean's just going to pitch me on EXP, which
Yeah.
nobody wants to be pitched, right? But if I'm hearing that Sean is like, you know whatever it is like the Sean is like the best um at getting into the spaces with people that are doing higher level business, right? So maybe you want to go into luxury, maybe you want
Hmm.
to be hanging with business owners. Maybe you want to, and Sean is the one that has a path where he used to hang out with like ditch diggers and now he hangs out with CEOs, whatever it is, like then
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
take that and introduce and say, "Oh, I gotta introduce you to my buddy Sean because he this is his story." And then the person will be like, "Oh man, I want to hear from Sean," versus, "Oh man, Sean's just gonna pitch me on EXP."
yeah. No, that's good stuff. Totally get it. Totally get it. Kelly, I know you're probably sitting there burning also right now. What are some other questions we could dig in for Chris while we got him here? Anybody got any questions at all?
Well, my first is an easy one. Who's the author of The Big Leap?
The big
Oh
leap.
man, actually, I need
Is
to
that a stretch?
give me 1 second. Let me pull it up on my Audible. Ah,
And I can go find it too. So, and we'll
I
get a little
usually
more
know all the
impactful.
authors of the books that I recommend, but uh-oh, am I losing you guys?
No, you got
Yeah,
us.
no, we got you.
Oh, now we lost him.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, my phone is
You're
acting up. Sorry about that. Give me
no,
one
you're good. You're
second.
probably good. You're probably better staying off of video if you can still hear us, Chris. Might have a better connection. So just stay like you're at right now.
Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, I realized my the sun was beating down on my phone, so my phone was starting to overheat. That's the problem. So I'm I'm moving it to behind the AC. Sorry. The
And
problem
Chris,
with the top that is all glass. It's Gay Hendricks.
Chris, are you able to hear us okay? It's who?
Gay Hendricks.
Perfect. Thank you. So for agent attraction, you've got a team of 400. What is working for you right now in terms of your attraction? How do you go about it?
Yeah. So for me personally, what I'm doing, and I think it's different depending on the size. So how big is your team, Kelly?
150.
Yeah. So with a team that size, I would just literally start calling through your team and ask them who they know, just like Sean was saying. Hey, like excite them, get them excited, get them find out who they're working on and see how you could help them with those people, right? So one of the things that I have in my office, do you guys know those Newton's cradle, the little, it's like a toy, the balls that hang from the string and you pull the one side and it. So
Yeah.
Oh,
I bought I bought one of those Newton's Cradle that I leave on my desk because here's the thing. This is what a leader does. A leader brings energy to their organization. And just like a Newton's Cradle, I literally have it there every morning. I pull the ball and remind myself my job is to add energy to my organization and like all the businesses that I own, right? My job is to add energy to this organization. And if I stop adding energy, just like the Newton's Cradle, the ball will stop clicking and will go still. So what I would do, Kelly, is you've got 150 people that if they make more money, you make more money. And so I would just legit call them. And that's what I'm doing right now. This is what I'm doing. I call the people in my organization and I ask them who they're working on and how I can help. And legit, all it does is like there's the book, The Four Disciplines of Execution. And one of those things that they talk about is this whirlwind that gets like, it just comes around us and we all get into this whirlwind. And all we're doing is refocusing people's like eyes on revenue share because I will guarantee you at least half, if not 90%. I don't want to say 90%, but my bet would be 90% of the people in your organization have not thought about bringing one person in the last week. But if you call them and ask them who they're working on, guess what they're going to think about? You're grabbing the ball in the Newton's cradle and click, 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 re-adding energy into your organization.
Okay. Then if you're that person who has not yet brought
hmm
in somebody, because we have a lot of those folks on the call, and you're really thinking you want to go that direction, what's your advice for them?
Yeah. So if that were the case, what I would just say is, in all likelihood, that's a person that is in production currently. And what I would do is every single agent you talk to, while you're doing production with them, you ask them hey, I'm just curious. Tell me the three favorite things about Berkshire Hathaway or about KW or about Real or whatever the brokerage they are at. They'll say their three things, like be nice and just throughout the transaction, because honestly, people you're doing business with are the ones that you can win over. Always check them out on if you go to homes.com, you can pull up that agent and it'll tell you how many deals they've done in the last year, and they'll tell you how many deals they've done in the last 2 years, and then 5 years, right? Now, if you're doing more in the way of revenue share, you can buy more expensive, elaborate, software. But for this one's free, right? So um, you can look and see, is their production going up or is their production going down? And if it's going down, they're ripe to come over, right? That's what we look for when we're recruiting to our team, is somebody whose production has gone down year over year, because they're feeling stuck. They're feeling broke, like they don't know what they're doing. And you can solve that problem. So you ask them the three things that they love to start, and one thing that if they could change, it would be XYZ. And then it's just like a doctor, right? Like I always teach this when I'm teaching like distressed sellers. It's just like a doctor. I've had 4 shoulder surgeries because I played rugby and I wrestled. I probably should have been a ribbon dancer or something that where nobody ever touched me. Um, apparently I was a lot more fragile than I thought I was. But like when I would go into the doctor, they would always crank on my shoulder and it would hurt so bad, you know, and then they would offer me the prescription, right? So like when you get them to talk by saying what they love, you get them to tell you what hurts, and then you offer the prescription, like the connection with Sean, the connection with Kelly, the connection with somebody that's in your upline, right? And then you're an introducer. But here's one of the things that I learned. So there's a guy who makes a ton of money in an MLM, a multi-level marketing business called Legal Shield, a guy named Brian Carruthers. And Brian is a good friend of mine. And what Brian said is, what you win them with is what you win them to. And so if you are great at being an awesome salesperson, then they're going to believe that they're going to have to be great at selling EXP. But if you're great at just introducing them to somebody else, then the bar goes way lower, where they're like, oh, all I've got to do is introduce people. I can do that, right? But I'm not like Kelly. I'm not like Sean. I'm not like, I can't sit down at a table and do an EXP explained with somebody. Like that's too scary. But I can introduce people. That's easy.
So to elaborate on Kelly's question, so you're talking about, because I think she was mentioning maybe the agents in her group, if you approach them, are you telling them they need to make that phone call, see if they could come up with their one, two, or three people that have been on their mind most that they would love to possibly introduce to EXP? You're asking them to make that phone call and ask those three questions to them, correct? To their prospect, and then to pull you onto the call or
100%.
anybody within the 7 levels up above.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, figure out who you can introduce them to, right? Get on, ask them the three things they love, ask them the thing that they would change if they could, and then
Hmm.
think through whatever it is where they feel stuck. Think through a person in your organization that is good at that particular issue, and then offer the prescription, offer to help them solve it by introducing them to somebody that's really good at the problem that they need to solve.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Um, Maybe a question about, if you got like 400 in your group, do you do anything in regards to weekly meetings for the rev share group? Do you do anything for retention? What are some things you do around those two?
Yeah, so there's a guy in our group that runs Tactical Tuesday, which is a production-based Zoom every Tuesday morning at 8:30 to 9:30. I run a revenue share conversation every Friday from 9:30 to 10. Um, And yeah, those are the things. Rob, my friend Rob has gone off and on, running a wealth building Wednesday, um, thing where, because again, we talk about building wealth for our organization and being an investor. So wealth building Wednesday, and does that off and on. So those are some of the things that we do there.
I got you. Elaborate if you would on what do you do on Friday for that 30 minutes? Is it more just a Q&A for your group to come in? Is it role play? What exactly you do on Fridays?
Yeah, no, it's literally um, just a small group of us that are all like the bigger builders in the organization, and it's just straight up, it's just adding energy to it. So we're just saying who you talking to, what's working, like, just going through and just kind of case study, and like everybody gets a chance to coach, be coached, or coach if they want, where just say, hey, have you thought about this? Hey, this person's really good at XYZ. You should connect them there or whatever. So
Hmm. Okay.
that's it.
I got you. And that's available to your entire group. You just have, I'd imagine, your generals, your builders that want to show up, but is it available to everybody?
Exactly. It's available to everybody,
Okay.
but we kind of, I try to make it more exclusive, because I say it's available to anybody, but we only want the people that want to build something big on this call. Like if you're, if you have nobody in your line, but you're committed to building big, hey, come on out. But if you've got, five people in your line, and you're not willing to, do what it takes to build big, we this isn't the right call for you.
Gotcha. Okay. And then from a retention standpoint, real quick though, with your 400, how many are involved in teams versus how many might just be solo agents if you were to give a approximate percentage out of curiosity?
I would say probably about 25% are involved in teams.
Okay. Okay. And do you do anything just with the group in general, your organization for retention? Do you guys do anything to help kind of retain? Is it just offering the meetings that you guys do weekly? Because we're always going back and forth, Kelly and I and our other five leaders. What can we do to help maintain the team? What can we do to help them grow? But is there anything specifically you do to help retain them at all?
Yeah. What we're doing honestly, we're working through like some different pieces for retention, but at the end of the day, we're inviting them to these calls, and um, anybody that is, the reality is, like, we're really focused on the people that are either doing like a decent level of production or a decent
Hmm.
level of attraction. And we know that, we can't spend our time with everybody. And so people that don't want to build a big production or build a big attraction, they're welcome to be in our world, but we're not going to spend, like, I know this sounds bad, but like, we're just not
No,
going to spend our time with people that aren't wanting to build something big.
no, we totally get it. We that's saying we always joke around. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. We offer up everything we possibly can to help, so we're in that same situation. Um, cool, cool. Any other questions, you guys?
Uh,
Anybody like to
but
Yeah, I
ask?
would ask.
Yeah, go ahead, Kelly.
Melvin, you have one? Go ahead.
you can go, Kelly. I'll go after you.
Mine was your onboarding strategy. How do you onboard your new folks?
Yeah. Not well. I wish I wish I wish I could tell you that it was great. And that was one of the things that I'll tell you, the first time I got invited to speak on a big stage, everybody was talking about how awesome their business was and how great it was. And then and these were all the people that I grew up listening to on podcasts, in the business, on podcasts, on stage. And then I was like invited to the big boy, big girl stage. And then we all had lunch or dinner afterwards. And then everybody, like, on stage, everybody was talking about how awesome everything was, and they're killing it here and there and there. And then we had dinner, and then they're like, "Oh man, this really sucks in my business." Like, and then you realize, like, maybe it looks like a Ferrari on the outside, but the engine's a little rusted out, right? And so I just decided that I'm like, I just never want to be that guy that says everything's awesome when, like, a lot of it sucks, and that's one of the things that sucks for us.
Appreciate
So,
your
so the
vulnerable
on
comment.
The onboarding, do you do them you guys self? Have you guys hired someone? You just let EXP do it? What do you guys do for onboarding?
um, Again, it's so bad. It's a mismatch of everything. So like if somebody's coming onto a team, the team's responsible for it. And we do have a bunch of teams in our organization, so
Yeah.
that makes it
Yeah.
easier there. If it's a big producer, because we have a big organization, there's somebody from EXP that kind of helps with the onboarding.
Hmm.
If it's if it's a solo solo producer, then you know Lars has somebody, I have an assistant. Like we just kind of like, hey, talk to this person. And like, I mean, honestly, we've lost a bunch of people through the onboarding, for and it's usually the lower tier folks that
Yeah.
need a lot of hand holding. And, you know, part of that is like I think through all of the lower tier folks that we've lost through the onboarding process, and it actually would come out to be a pretty big group of people, but it also is a lot of the lower tier people. It's not necessarily our
Yeah.
avatar. And I don't mean any disrespect to anybody.
No,
It's
no,
just
no.
like we
We
only
hear
have
you.
enough time in the day. So it's yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, completely hear you. No, no, no. Appreciate that. Well, trust me, we go through the same thing. That's why we're asking some of these questions to see, is anybody doing anything different than we are? Because that's kind of our mindset. Go after people that are already producing, that are doing 3 million or greater. We won't deal with all these issues. But hey, Melvin, real quick, brother, go
Yes.
ahead.
Hey, Chris, thanks for sharing. Where are you based out of?
I'm in the so my main hub is in the DC area, DC, Virginia, Maryland. I'm in Virginia personally. And then we have an expansion location in Richmond, Virginia, and Virginia Beach, Virginia, the Hampton Roads area, and then up in Delaware.
Okay. What systems that you're using right now is bringing the most agents into your team,
To the team or the organization?
to your organization?
Okay. Yeah, honestly, like at this point, it's it's literally just the people in the organization. And that was like I learned that from, and again, if I were starting from zero, I would have a different answer, but I can just give you the answer that I'm doing. This came I got to be buddies with Brent Gove. And Brent, it was so funny. Me and my friend Rob went down and spent a weekend with him at his house in Puerto Rico. And Rob, the whole flight down, was so excited. He thought he was going to enter the Bat Cave, right? Like, with all the crazy like technology and everything else. And Brent literally runs his $12 million business off of two whiteboards, right? And on his whiteboards, he just has the names of all the people that are important to him, and just the check marks of when he's connected with them. And that to me was probably the most freeing thing ever to the organization. Like I was in ministry
Oh,
for a long time. Oh, there we go. Kelly's got it right there. I was I was in ministry, and I built a really big organization when I was in ministry. And I remember it was just finding, like, spending time with the leaders and really encouraging them to go find other people. And when I heard Brent and his like model, I was like, oh, that's exactly what I used to do. Like this is it. Just like find the leaders, encourage them, and let them go lead and bring people in. And so that's really it. It's just spending time with leaders and really encouraging them. Like I said to Kelly, like getting them focused, reminding them where they what they need to be doing. And I heard somebody say like your job is not the CEO, it's the CRO, chief reminding officer, just
Mhm.
reminding people what they should be doing with their time.
Good stuff. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I,
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I think I think I know the answer to this, Chris. But if you had to start over, being it was 4 or 5 years ago, but if you had to start over tomorrow, would you do anything different in your approach and how you built this?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I would probably have found somebody like Rob right off the bat and just said, "Hey, let's do this together," like from the get-go, instead of missing out on stuff. Like you just got to know yourself, right? What is it? Know thyself, right? And for me, I'm I get I'm so driven, but I also have so many things where I've got a lot of success going on that, like, it's it's hard for me to get excited about something that I'm not doing with other people. And so,
Hmm.
um, I would have found somebody and partnered probably right away. Like I know Kyle Whistle and Dan Beer did that, like with their revenue share. I probably would have done something like that from the get-go um so that because it just that's what gives me life and energy and excitement.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, cool, cool. Well, guys, we got maybe 10 minutes left. We don't have to take up the whole hour. Does anyone have anything else left? This is good, Chris. It really is, man. I appreciate it. Anybody got questions at all for Chris? All right. Well, Chris, man, I know you got a busy day ahead of you, my friend. Do you want me to send you the recording over once I get hold of it?
Sure. Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Well, man, we appreciate you jumping on, brother. Congrats with all your success. If anybody wanted to follow you, are you just under your name on social media, or how can people find you if they wanted to
Yeah.
learn more about you?
Old high school cheesy nickname at Craddock on Instagram, Craddrock. I probably need to change that, but I haven't yet. And Chris Craddock official on TikTok, and yeah, if anybody wants to reach out and talk, most places I don't respond. It's usually somebody on my staff, but I still respond to Instagram DMs. So if anybody ever wants to reach out on Instagram, I respond on Instagram DMs. Oh, 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 hey. Out here on the grind, chasing dreams in the sun, from the Gulf to the hills. Yeah, we're getting